So what I'm going to talk about today is reigniting American innovation and growth through innovation engineering. This is a totally new program, and this is the first time I'm doing this, so if I flub it a little bit, you know, don't laugh too loud or don't scratch your head. Basically, innovation engineering is a management system that helps you to increase speed of innovation, sometimes six times faster than what normal companies do, and to decrease risk anywhere from 30 to 80%. And you know what risk is? You spend all this time, money, and effort with your people and money, and then all of a sudden you have a product idea that isn't working, or worse, isn't needed by the marketplace. So this process helps you to really hone in on what's needed and what can be done. The purpose for the program is to reignite American innovation and growth, which everybody, of course, is talking about nowadays, and it's actually happening in the automotive industry. The promise is a sustainable innovation culture that increases innovation speed and decreases risk. And by innovation culture, we're talking about that when we work with a company to do this, they're going to be able to do this from now on. They'll be trained, they'll go through the program, they'll understand it. Just like Lean for many years was something that you would go and train companies and ultimately have them as in-house people that could now go a year from now and say, hey, how can we make this more efficient? Lean has to do with efficiency. Has nothing to do with, has not a lot to do with developing new products and growth. Once you develop that product, then you want to have lean transformation and lean training to squeeze the cost and make the product more efficient and make the quality 100%. So this is a different, idea. It really is different than what we've been doing for the years. The process is define what's needed, and define could be, dozens or hundreds of ideas coming out from the company and the group working with us. Discovery point is really, let's fine tune out of those 100 so-called ideas, what really makes sense and what's practical that can be done. Develop them, you take those ideas, and now you start spending money on development process. But meanwhile, you've culled out all the things that are good ideas, but maybe not useful for the type of business you have or the type of customers that you normally do business with. And then deliver is you're at the point where you're actually ready to go to market with your products, knowing that you've removed the risk and you've spent the money, but you spent it wisely because you followed the process and you're successful. And the big statement here is create, communicate, and commercialize. The system decreases risk. The risk is taken on in the beginning, as I mentioned earlier, with these 100 ideas, or however, just give that an example. And then once you discover, you're going down to the ones that make sense and what you can be done. And then once you've picked out those ideas, you decide to what investments you're going to make. And this is where you're going to be spending money in the development phase, stage, and then coming to the end where you actually have a product you can go to market with. Step one is to accelerate, existing product and ideas that companies already have, and then educate to transform the mindsets of the people in the company. It is a lot of change. It's very different. When I went to a boot camp up in Albany, it was very different than what I was used to and what we did. I worked for a company for 20 years that we used to have 5-year product plans, not unlike a communist system, but it was really 5-year plans on how to develop new products and spend the time and the effort. And it was very expensive. Sometimes we spent $2 million on something that was a dud. And, somebody's head would roll because of that. So that eliminates all those problems, or minimizes the problems of coming up with products that the market doesn't need, or the market needs it, but you didn't develop a product that was useful to the companies. And then also there's a big cultural change, like what this is based on versus the way my company used to do business. So there's employee innovation network and an innovation supply chain that we'll see later on. Our target audience for this program, based on what NYSTAR is having us to do, is they really want us to work with the companies from anywhere from 100 to 500 employees, because what they found out was that they had the biggest impact per company. Now, Lyft is taking a different approach. We're going to get down to the 50 to 70, 50 to a 500 base company, because there's a lot of 50 employee companies that are very innovative right now. They have good product ideas, but they need to grow. And that's because truthfully, in Long Island, we have a lot more highly educated people in manufacturing and in IT and all these other things that help a company to stay in business. Most of the other states, other than Southern California, it's 10 or 15 people is a big deal. So I'm not knocking that, but it's just the way it is. We have a good central place: Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Jersey, and a few other states going down. But New York, Long Island in particular, is a real hotbed of activities. Innovation is more than products and services. It's more profitable for your customers in your marketplace, and you're providing more profitable processes. And this is really going to be the new business model, looking at profitability, Everybody has to hear it around. If you're going to spend the money, time, and the effort, you want to make profit in doing that. And be on the left side of the curve. Our mindset really is to help our friends, to educate them, and I love this statement. They don't know what they don't know. And that's really what it is, You don't know what you don't know. But the idea is to educate them so that, they start to do know what they should know. Be honest with them and work with them. Tough love if needed, but to get away with the egos. A lot of times, owners of companies, managers of companies, you have to be really tough with them, saying, look, you're skeptical about this, but if you don't do this, where are you going to be? You're going to stay on that right side of the curve, and ultimately your sales are going to go down, your profits are going to go down, and ultimately you're going to wind up losing people and possibly even losing your business. And be helpful to giving them meaningful advice and offer genuine optimism. We have to make sure that, not only do they need to be optimistic, but we need to be able to show them that not only optimistic, we feel currently, based on what we do, it's going to work. Now, this is a crazy slide. I put it in here. There's two kinds of willing. Proactive people, those are 15% who value innovation and want to go faster. And then deadly reactive, people that are mad at hell, they're ready for a revolution, they're ready to fight back. I put this in here, I still don't understand it. So, but I put it in there because it looked pretty interesting. The high impact clients, NYSTAR did a study on that, and found out that the companies in this 100 to 499, looking as a conglomerate of all the businesses in New York, in the United States, were more likely to innovate. They're typically twice as proactive versus small companies, and nearly twice the sales from new innovations, and they also have 30 times more patents. My personal belief is on Long Island, it's a different model. The companies that are 50 people and higher typically have these same type of opportunities and criteria. I love this bell curve thing, because it really, in one picture, really separates the research that was done by NYST and also by Eureka Ranch. The left side companies are the proactive innovators. You want to be on the upward slope of the bell curve. The right side companies are reactive cost cutters. In other words, they've got competition from China, they've got competition from Japan, they've got competition from other companies in New York or throughout the United States or Mexico that can make that product less costly and thus compete with them in the marketplace, but they've not done anything about it. And so what happens is, these are very good slides. As you can see, the people on the proactive side basically have 84% more sales growth over the past 3 years than the people on the right side of the curve, because they're just basically reactive on costs and so on and so forth. That's a very big change between 84% versus 4%. Very shocking. But it kind of makes sense when you think about it. Same with profit margin. 96% of the customers that are on side of that curve, their profit margins have grown 96% over the past 3 years versus 13% on the companies on the right side of the curve, primarily because they keep dropping their pricing because they're trying to compete and stay alive. Innovation means more. Does everybody understand those bell curves? Because I think, to me, that's really the heart of this thing. What's happened in the past 3 years, and it was studied, and it really is true. Innovation means companies make more money. In the end, you wind up with lower costs because you've studied that and you've learned that how can you make these new products at the lowest cost possible. You're able to build into quick delivery time. How can you turn this around fast when your customers want it? The quality systems go up. The voice of the customers, you're developing and selling products that your customers want. Not what you want to sell them, but what they need. And ultimately, it's all due to innovation. When you keep innovating and developing new products based on all these things that are necessary to stay in business, it's a home run.